Bees by Betsy Miller. My 9th grade lit teacher says we're going to have writers' workshops sometimes on Friday afternoons. This is the first time we're doing that. Since this is October, she says maybe we could write about something scary. We don't have to, though. We can write whatever we want and we don't have to turn it in. I'm not sure if I want to write about something scary. Would writing about a scary thing make it even scarier? I don't know. I've never tried it before. Probably it would be best to invent a character so that if someone ever sees this, they won't think it's about me or that I'm writing about someone in class. That'd be creepy. I need a name for my character. Jimbo. I saw that on TV once, but no one I know has that name. Jimbo was 7 years old. He was afraid of bees. That's a good start. Bees don't bother me personally all that much, but I can imagine this little boy worrying about bees. He was not so afraid of bees that he couldn't leave the house. It was more like if he saw a bee, he would avoid it. You know, walk the other way. He knew all the places where bees like to go on the way to school. The bottle brush plant, which he called the bee tree, was worst of all. He always made sure to cross the street to the opposite side to avoid the bee tree. The spacing between the words doesn't look right, so I erase it and write it again. Still not right. Third time I decide it looks okay. Jimbo looked a little funny walking to school sometimes, especially in spring when there were lots of flowers. While the other kids walked in pretty much a straight line down the sidewalks, he wove his way in a wandering path, moving from bee-free place to bee-free place, trying to stay out of the street because of cars. Probably ended up walking twice as far as anyone else. You know, it isn't real. I feel bad for Jimbo. So scared of bees, so afraid of the touch of a wing, the feather-like feel of insect feet against his skin, the warming hum of approaching danger, the sharp, burning pain of a stinger. I wonder how many rows are on this piece of binder paper. I've counted the rows on binder paper before. I think I remember, but I'm not sure. Plus, this piece of paper could be different. 30. I like that number because it has a 3 in it, plus it's also even, which makes it even better. I counted twice more from top to bottom and 3 times going from the bottom to the top. That's 2 3s. If I count it again, that would be 3 3s, which is a nice idea, but it would also be uneven because I would have either more top to bottom counts or more bottom to top counts instead of the same number of each. I write 30 very lightly in the margin while I try to figure out the best number of times to count. Writer's workshop is over. The teacher told us that we can turn in our papers or take them home. I don't like to leave things unfinished, so I decided to take mine home. After school, Mom reminds me that I have a doctor's appointment today. This is the doctor that has a lot of experience with teens and knows all about meds and exposure and response prevention. That's when they make you practice doing scary things and stopping yourself from doing everything that seems to calm you down. I forgot about that. I don't want to go. I think about inventing a stomach ache, which isn't that far from the truth because my stomach is starting to hurt, but I don't think she'll let me skip. Or maybe she'll say that's even more of a reason to go to the doctor, so I don't say anything. Instead, I go to my room and I get my roll of paper towels that I keep in a Ziploc bag out from under my bed. I go into the bathroom and take the paper towels out of the bag. I wash my hands 3 times and dry them with 3 paper towels. I get out my green binder, click the lead in my mechanical pencil to the right length, then I work on my story some more. One day, the school called Jimbo's mom because he was always late. She wondered why, because she sent him out the door in plenty of time. The next day, she took time off work so she would be able to walk to school with him. At the last minute, she decided not to tell him. Instead, she waited a couple of minutes after he left, and she followed to see what happened. She could see Jimbo weaving his way down the sidewalk. He didn't look up at the other kids who said hi to him. When he got to the bee tree, she saw him dart across the street to get away from him. A car slammed on its brakes to keep from hitting him, but Jimbo didn't even notice. His mom ran up to catch with him and walked the rest of the way to school. When Mom knocks on my door to ask if I want a snack, I say, "No thanks, my stomach is kind of bothering me right now." Jimbo's mom walked to school with him. At first she walked on the side near the traffic because she didn't want him going into the street, but she could see that something really bothered him about the plants and flowers. She didn't know about the bees, but she said sure, if he held her hand and stayed out of the street, they could trade sides. Jimbo relaxed until they got to the bee tree. tree was alive with the angry hum of bees. They hovered. They darted from flower to flower. Every once in a while, a bee would zoom away from the tree, adding an element of unpredictable danger. Jimbo could picture the bees coming at him, covering him with hot, sharp stings. Even with his mom between him and the tree, he was too scared to walk past it. Some of my handwriting is crooked, so I erase the last paragraph and write it over. Mom knocks on my door and says it's time to go. I ask if I can bring my binder and keep writing in the car. In the passenger seat, I start to write, but my handwriting is too messy because I'm in a moving car. I erase what I've written. I watch the odometer click through the miles like bees alighting one by one on Jimbo. In the waiting room at the doctor's office, I click the lead in my pencil and continue. Finally, Jimbo told his mom about the bees. "Oh," she said, "lots of people are afraid of bees, but you don't have to worry because bees are really not that interested in you. They just want flowers. I'll tell you what, we'll practice going near bees a little at a time until you get used to it." The receptionist calls my name and Mom and I go to meet the doctor. The doctor wears normal clothes, not a white lab coat. She's very friendly. Mom tells her about my roll of paper towels and about how I write and erase and rewrite, and the time I pushed a kid into the parking lot when he tried to take my mechanical pencil. Mom leaves the room because I'm over 12 and that's the privacy rule. The doctor says, "So James, can you tell me a little about yourself?" But I ask if we can talk about bees instead.